All righty, everybody. Oh, happy day. I hope you're doing insanely well. In this video, we're going to dive in with Alan, good friend and partner in the business, about CRMs. We're going to have an open and candid discussion, okay, so that you can decide for yourself if a CRM is for you or maybe not. We're going to talk about some pros, some cons, and we're going to drop this to you today. So hope you enjoy this. Alan, say hey.
Howdy, howdy. How's it going?
Good, buddy. Thanks for joining us today. And we'll kind of talk today about just kind of like some CRM. So, Alan, with your experience, okay, you've gone through the telemastery program, rocked and rolled, right in biz. And when you got, released, and we talked about low technology, right? High production. What was kind of your experience to kind of share with the audience? What path did you go? Like when you first went after it and decided, hey, I need a telephone, I need to do something. What kind of path were you on and how did that go for you?
Well, I'm one that tends to learn the hard way. I kind of need to do that for some reason. It's a flaw of mine. But so I didn't take the path of least resistance. I tried to find all the new fandangled things, the shiny objects, and I'm sure it works for people out there and people who are maybe more techie. But I did find that it was just a whole lot of a learning curve, which took away from production, So if you got to learn it, already you have to learn the industry, you have to learn the carriers and business in general. So to learn other technological things on top of that, it caused me personally, it just slowed me down. It kept me off the phones, whether it was troubleshooting internet or the technology itself, which was exactly what you said kind of not to do, keep it low technology, high production, which is not the way I did it.
And I appreciate that. And it's like, we go through things like when you have a CRM, and there's nothing wrong with the CRM, first off, for the audience to understand. There's nothing wrong with the CRM, but it can create some very real problems because you had, problems with, correct me if I'm wrong here, you had problems with connectivity issues. The CRM was having hiccups. You had to try to get a hold of tech support, and tech support was not exactly like snap their fingers and jumping. Am I right here? Or
yes, I mean, and nothing against any of them. Like I said, sure. It's probably great for certain individuals or maybe later on. Right. But yeah, I mean, they're going to be busy with other people and running their company and doing things like that. And it's tough. It takes away from your days, And I had, whether it was my internet or it was a loading issue or what have you, or I had issues with the phone numbers not working correctly or sounding bad when I was calling people. And not on a CRM, it's definitely a learning curve for me, but I had issues with spam calls and I'm calling leads and calling and then not realizing why they're not picking up until I have to call my own friends and family to be like, hey, what's going on? What does this look like when I call you? What does it sound like? And that's when they kind of told me like, hey, you should just use your phone. I'm like, well, that's a good idea. So,
that's horrible, right? Because it's like, here you are investing money. You bought a CRM that's well known in the industry. It's a decent CRM. There's a lot of good CRMs out there, right? But then you find out you're getting spam risk. You find out that it's not making you as fast. It's not making you as functionable, right? This is all about function over fashion. For anyone watching, I run a national insurance agency, jasonfinalexpense.com. I partner with some amazing, agents across this nation, of which Alan is one. He's amazing. But let me tell you, we operate different, and transparency is important. When you're dealing with a CRM, let me tell you, even the amazingly good ones out there in the industry, they have their own problems. Okay. Like when you were talking to your family, trying to figure out what in the world's going on here. And then they're saying it's coming up as spam, and the call clarity, because you're calling through your computer through that CRM, correct?
Correct. Right? Yes. And, dialing through there and trying to use a headset, trying not to use that, just figuring out what works best. And again, some of it could be just my internet. I'm not a gamer, so I don't have all this fancy stuff or anything like that, but 100%. I mean, and spam, I mean, I know you can go and get other numbers. You can go through this company and this company to change it. But again, once that happens, now you're not producing. Now you're IT. You're trying to figure stuff out, which is not our job, you know?
Absolutely. And it's like you're buying your Trulio number, you're doing your thing, and then you find out it gets straight up spam right away and you're paying all these data fees. Like that hamstrings your brother. It did. Like you and I talked, and that's why I want to kind of have this fun interview. I appreciate you jumping on for the audience.
Absolutely.
But, when you and I were hitting, it was like, man, it's like, oof, right? Like if we just keep it on the basics, we can overcome all of this stuff. And a CRM, like, there's a free CRM in my agency. No big deal. Okay. I give it away. It's not a problem. You don't have to have a dialer to have a good CRM at like zero cost in my agency, but there's some nicer CRMs with dialer features that are better. But now it's like, this was not necessarily better when it kind of hamstrings an agent, a great agent, when now it's like you're hamstrung for 2-3 days where you can't make income because you're busy like playing MacGyver on your dang CRM and you can't get the tech support you need right away. And now you're like on the side of the road, not making that money. It's important. Like when you get a spam risk, you weren't having the pickup rates, were you? When that spam was hitting?
Absolutely not. And, and that's a big issue with it when you're trying to just continue on, and make those calls. And if you're buying leads, which is our lifeblood, then again, nothing against the CRMs, but if everything isn't fine tuned, we have our process, we have what we say and how we do it, you're burning money. I'm paying X amount for a lead and then they're never going to pick up. Now you got to change a number. It's just, it's a whole cycle of stuff. If you're not completely set up, if you're not techie, or you don't spend a lot of time kind of setting that up, it can be a hindrance. Now, for other people, maybe if they love doing funnels and building websites and email blasts and doing all this stuff, 100%, that I'm sure that stuff can help you. But personally, for me, it's hard enough to get clients of ours to sometimes they even have an email address. So get them to sign an application via email can be sometimes an issue. So, that it just kind of, it's a bunch of cool stuff that, again, I've heard you say it many times, like focus on the income producing factors of the business. IT is technically not an income producing factor for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's like, keep it simple, right? Keep it simple, salesman. We won't say the other word, like a lot of people affiliate. Put together with that. But man, it's true. Like there's nothing wrong with a CRM, everyone out there. But let me tell you, there's no stinking reason when you first start off to go that route. It's going to create problems, hurdles, one more thing to keep you from the most important thing. And that's calling the great people that you're trying to help. Just having a regular phone is so much more clear. You don't have to complicate a very simple business. Now, will it keep you more organized? Yes. Okay. But there's great CRMs, even better CRMs than, what Alan, used here, which was a very, good, affordable cost CRM under $50, way under $50 out there. It's a good CRM, but had a lot of problems with it. And it took away from his productivity. Now he's going old school and getting a hold of people. Amazing, right? We've got another agent in our agency that purchased an even more expensive CRM. It's probably one of the best that I know of. It's not cheap, has single line, triple line dialers, amazing stuff, right? All TCP compliant, really cool setup. But he realized after calling data that he was able, with a phone like you and I use, Alan, our standard phone, okay? He was able to make more contacts and more dials going old school than he was able to accomplish on a very expensive dialer and CRM where he's paying for data. Ridiculous, because he's really smart and he's tracking this stuff. And him and I had a conversation about this, and we're like, oh my word, I cannot believe this. I'm making more contacts, more calls. There's no minuscule delay. Because with any kind of dialer, there's like that delay. You're not necessarily hearing that ring, right? It's like boom, and it hits. There is a momentary delay, and that can sometimes take away, for those of you watching, your opportunity. So it's smart to keep things simple. It really is as simple as just buying leads, having a computer, having a good script, knowing what you're doing, and then just doing a lot of that. It's a simple business. Wouldn't you agree with that, Alan?
Absolutely. It's not easy, like everybody says. It's not easy, but it is simple. And as long as you keep it simple, you don't have to overcomplicate it, which again, I do. I overcomplicate life because that's me. But it's super simple. And I was going to say that even with CRMs, it can help keep track of your stuff, but we've shared stories of, I was face to face before, and I've had other CRMs with, doing other things. Well, then you move a house, or you no longer utilize that CRM, and now you don't have access to it. You're losing all this data and stuff that you have. So for sure, back up everything you have, maybe paper copy or something. But yeah, and then the break and stuff. It really took me kind of getting a hold of my friends that have good feedback to be like, is this somebody that you would answer? Whether, even if it's not spam, but then they answer, like you said, and then there's a robot recording, and then a beep, and then that weird thing. Is that who you would talk to? I don't know. Personally, I wouldn't. So
Absolutely. And if you see a bunch of spam risk, or you see that momentary delay when you pick up, right? It eliminates control. And telesales, for those of you watching, is about control. And it's not about being controlling, but about being kind through the process. But you have to control every element of your business. Income producing activities. It's not about making excuses. It's about making a way. So if you like a CRM, great. Okay. I've used tons of CRMs, lots of well-known ones. And let me tell you, this is my dollar, everyone. This is my dollar. And I've got lots of agents across this nation, and some of the most amazing top producers. A couple of them use CRMs, and a lot of them don't. And they're just like hounds. Get after it, grab a lead. Let's take care of people. Let's giddy up. And even with leads, right? You and I've talked about this. Like, some people are like, make your own Facebook leads, pay me to make your Facebook leads. Nothing wrong with that. But sometimes if you're spending so much time on that, I'd rather just buy leads and get after it. Like, buy leads. It costs me money for me to take that foot off the gas, just like with you experiencing the CRM. And most agents, when they have a CRM, it takes days, sometimes weeks to load stuff up, or you got to pay consulting fees to have somebody do it for you, because it's such a time drain to do all of that. Most people aren't gifted in that space. There's great people that are, but most aren't. Most people get frustrated. And if you get frustrated like me, what happens on the phone?
Yeah, it comes through for sure. And then when you finally, sometimes you get not commission breath, but a little excitement when you finally do, and it can be overexcitement because you're like, finally I made contact, and you're like, okay, calm down. But the same thing with frustration. You're just, that's why you have the mirror, and you smile every once in a while and go, okay, hey, we're good.
It leads through. It does. And it's like, if I'm frustrated because, let's say, my Facebook lead shut down again, or maybe my ad spend, I thought I can get a $4 lead and it came through as $18, and now I'm irritated, right? It's like, you can't control certain things. And then it does have a tendency to bleed through on the other side of what we do. So I'm a big proponent. Yes, if you're a super high tech guy, fine, go make your own Facebook leads, but don't focus on it. And sure as hey, don't do it during income producing hours. And when you're brand new, my advice is always, you're just staying with the basics. Just a phone, have fun calling, do a lot of it. It's grind. And there's no substitute. This is grind. This business takes a lot of skill, and Alan possesses an insane amount of skill, buddy. Proud of you. You got crazy skill. You're gifted, man. He went through our telemastery program and did a great job. Alan, was I, just out of curiosity, why is that easy on you or to anybody in the class? Was it an easy class that you went through?
No, by far, no, not easy, which is good. I mean, that's personally one of the biggest things that drew me to it, was needing that kind of boot camp style, in the nicest way possible, the boot camp style, kind of like grind. If going, especially for me, face to face to telesales, which is a completely different beast, both great, but it was not easy. And other classmates that I had were very good at, that's what they did, telesales. And so transferring over for them for some things was really easy. And even with them, you saw, which was kind of humbling for me. I'm all nervous, like, oh my gosh, this is going to be really intense. I've never done this telesales gig. And then, to see that it was across the board tough, which is good. That's how you grow. So.
Absolutely. Pain's necessary. And it was painful at times, but then it produced a result that I was pretty happy for you. So, it's amazing how, like, the hard work, it does help in a big way. But we veterans in that class. That was a fun class. That was a fun graduating class. It really was, seeing everybody rock and roll. And veterans, brand new, doesn't matter. Everybody gets treated the same. Alan has crazy experience in history. in the face-to-face side, jumps in the tele side. It's a different beast. Would you say from what you experienced in the old face-to-face play?
100%. I mean, and I was one of those people that just switched over and no real training in telesales, maybe a little bit of video here and this and that. And I spent a lot of time and money realizing that I needed help. So that was,
it's like, and the nice thing is at least telesales reverse translates. Like
yes.
what we know now, it's like, oh man, like it translates the other direction, but it doesn't. When you're a face-to-face rep, you realize very quickly it's not the same game.
No.
But yeah, so the CRM then was definitely kind of a hurdle for you, sounds like. And then you went back to basics and it was like, oh, okay. Deep breath. Would you say that's the shit?
100%. Once like I said, this don't do what I did, which is take every possible speed bump that there is. But yeah, whether it was trying to generate my own leads or having a really nice, awesome CRM with dialer and email and all this other happy stuff to just finally going, okay. I mean, I remember calling you and just being frustrated, like,
oh yeah,
okay, I swear I'm better than this. I am, but
you are. You've proven it.
Yeah, this is my situation, and that's literally just. And I even told you, I was like, I didn't do anything that you said to do. I did the opposite. And you're like, yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Now, do you have a phone? Cool. Now, okay, let's buy some leads and make some calls. That sounds good.
It's like, I'm blunt with you. I care about you, but yeah. And it's like, it's not like, you can spend, $40, $50 on a really good CRM. And then you got to pay for your Trulio, you got to pay for your dials and all that stuff. And that data, just for everyone watching, that data ain't cheap. Okay. It's a heck of a lot cheaper to not have a dialer in a CRM. It's a heck of a lot cheaper to have a really good phone. And I mean a good phone. And if for those of you watching that don't have a good phone, reach out, jasonfinalexpense.com. I'll serve you with that. We've got crazy good, systems that are not expensive. Okay. Cause there's a couple great agents that, that like the dialer component with their little Trulio accounts and numbers. And what happens is they got data where they're going to spend 200 plus a month sometimes or more. If you're a full-time rep, that's a lot of money. 200 something bucks a month. And it's like all this mass email, mass text, you've got systems and things in place. And I get it. There's some value to that. But with all of that involved, I was chatting with a couple of our reps today about this, and it's like, it doesn't produce more income. Before they had a dollar with the CRM, they produced more income or the same income. It didn't like move the needle, right? So for those of you watching, don't get into a position where you feel like I've got to have the shiny object to find success.
Correct.
The shiny object did not bode well, right, for your end, Alan. What was your experience with the shiny object syndrome?
Oh,
not that shiny object is wrong.
I was literally like Abu in Aladdin, in the beginning, in that little treasure cave, whatever it's called. And, every shiny thing I saw, I was like, oh, let's try that. Let's try that. And again, I'm sure there's a lot of success out there, and there are certain situations, and maybe over time you can touch on those things again. But in the beginning, I did have experience, so I'm not like fresh, brand new to the whole industry. But whether you are or aren't, just do what makes you money. And it's simple, it's make a phone call again, have a conversation, do that over and over and over and over again. And eventually, you will probably make your own leads with referrals and with all sorts of stuff, helping customers. So I just, great stuff, great people out there, but just keep it simple. Keep it simple. Seriously. Yeah. Get a good phone. Get
a good phone.
Yeah.
Not this crap phone. No. Your audio is important.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we don't Zoom. I don't sell by Zoom. So this is a little bit foreign to me. But yeah, everything else sounds great. And the phone system that we use is absolutely amazing. I mean, it's simple. And it's affordable.
Right. Affordable, right? You're not paying hundreds for our phone systems, right? Maybe like under $30 for everything, maybe, for those of you watching. Yeah.
They even help. Sorry. I was gonna say, they even helped me, and I don't want to get too inside baseball. They helped me get a new router. They even helped pay for a new router because I needed to update that, so.
Right. Yeah. Our platforms don't play. it's nice. Like when you got good people, like they take good care of you, they support you, they treat you like the professional and amazing man that you are as a partner in the agency. And it's nice to have good support. Like support is very, very important. And some CRMs out there, they're nice, they're good, they've got some good support, but they get too busy sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Like it is what it is. Nature of the business, right? Nature of the beast. That's not anything
Yep.
bad or good. Just it is what it is. And if you're losing money because you're not producing revenue, right? You're not producing those real
Mm-hmm.
things, you know, it can hurt you. And for those of you watching, make sure whatever you use, whether it's a cell phone, okay, whether it is a high-end phone platform like what we use, which is not that expensive, whatever y'all use, make sure it sounds good. Call some friends, call a grandma, do what Alan here did and made sure that it wasn't getting flagged as a spam risk or something weird. Okay. It's just not good if you got weird things. And be real careful of some like affiliate fee based CRMs out there in the industry that are really, really overpriced. The CRMs won't make you more money. Just so that you understand, they won't make you more money. Will they keep you more organized? Maybe if your data doesn't get lost. They could. Okay. They can definitely keep you more organized, but auto-populating emails to these sweet people, throwing text constantly, all these little pathways and funnels and great looking emails. There's nothing wrong with it, but let me tell you, for someone that's a professional procrastinator and somebody that is a great avoider, you send him an email or a text, it's like, ooh, Alan's calling, block number, right? You're going to spend so much time doing this like mind-numbing busy work instead of just being about telesales, which is about being on the phone. It's
Yeah.
not high tech.
No, it's real simple. I mean, and like you said, do definitely call, test the stuff out first. Get it. I mean, I was three-way in with friends and that, well, three-way calls with friends and stuff like that, and literally just learning all the buttons, just so I'm like, all right, in the morning I can make calls. I know how to transfer. I know how to do this. It sounds good. Yeah, and then you feel more confident. Then you're like, heck yeah, I'm stoked to get a hold of somebody now. Like, let them hear how professional I am. So
It's so great. Your phone system's legit, isn't it, brother? It's
yes,
cool.
yes.
Did your family hear the hold music? Did you change the hold music on anything, or did you keep
I
the same?
haven't changed it yet, but yeah, I haven't got to hear it yet because we're doing it later at night.
Sure.
But absolutely, I mean, I have my brother on the line. I'm calling him like, all right, I'm going to call Riley and I do that. I'm like, here, tell me what the hold music sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely great.
It's crazy cool. Like a lot of people don't realize that in telesales, everyone, like silence is the carbon monoxide of the industry. Okay. So a lot of folks don't know how to handle themselves around a phone. They're using some face to face data. They're using some silent techniques, which is fine in face to face. Alan's got experience. So do I. Face to face, silence is amazing, isn't it, brother?
It's power. Yeah,
It is.
absolutely.
In telesales, what happens?
Click.
Exactly. It's like we gone. So yeah, having a good phone system that's got some hold music, and if you have to temporarily put somebody on hold, there's not this silence, because when silence happens, these demons happened in the mind, right? And when you're
Yep.
dealing with some CRMs, let me tell you, a lot of the CRMs all use the same chassis, everyone. They're all the same chassis, different glitter on the outside. They're good. Okay, nothing against CRMs here, but I'm telling you, they can be a problem for you if you're trying to be a powerful producer. Keep things simple at first, but be careful. You got to know how to use a three-way phone call. Make sure you don't have glitches, and everything's fine until it isn't fine. Okay, there was a lot of agents that were experiencing one of the newer CRMs out there, great CRM. And guess what? Because the chassis is based on the same chassis that like everybody in the industries are really based out of. Okay. It's all the same white labeled, great product, by the way. All of them are.
Yes.
But that bad boy went down, and it was like all the dogs are a yelping. Okay. I'm telling you, it's like every insurance agent that had any kind of platform like that are like, oh crap, I'm down. Are you down? I'm down. Are you down? I'm down. Everybody's like licking their wounds, barking. Okay. It was crazy. But yet all of us who are old school are like just going to town, just
Oh yeah.
dialing, just smiling, taking care of our great consumers. So there's definitely some cons to a CRM. There's definitely some cons as well if you're just hand dialing everyone. But you know what? If one system goes down, um, we have other resources to go grab another phone and continue what we do.
Correct. That's one of the coolest things I found. Like I can do it at my office. I can do it when I'm out and about, if my computer, which it likes to do weird things and I don't understand it, I'm like, oh, okay, don't you do that. And I'm just grab my phone, go ahead and handle this, you know, and you don't have to lose people.
Absolutely. Let a phone be a phone, right? Like, oh, that's an amazing concept, right? Thanks for watching, Jason. You know, but it's true. Like, let a phone be a phone. Let a phone be a phone. Like your computer will accidentally, like, you know how, like one of my computers here, it's like it had to like re-update and restart. It's like, oh, we must restart right now. It's like, whoop. It's like, if that was my dialer component, I'm like, oh, crud. Right. I'm going to sit here and wait for 10 minutes for it to like reboot because it needs a new plug-in or something dumb. I'd rather have leads, a phone, a script, and go to town.
100%. Personally. Yeah. I mean, it's like face to face. You got to make it to the appointment, right? That's what we're doing. Telesales. We got to make it to that conversation. And that's 90% of the situation is making that conversation. So.
And if you have an echo chamber, you're in trouble too. Like some of these, you know, dialers, they're good until something happens. They go glitchy. And then it's like, my callers are having a tough time hearing me. Can I call you? Can I call you, Alan? I need to call you because my prospects are telling me that I sound like trash. And then it's like you're losing money. It's like you might as well just take $20 bills, $10 bills, light them on fire because that's what you're doing to your leads. And even good CRMs have this occurrence. I think you've witnessed it in our telesquad, our group chat. You've seen that too, where it's happened. It's like, call me. Right. This is messed up right now. And it fixes itself. It does. But unfortunately, you kind of fried a couple leads during that time period.
Yeah. And not just on CRMs. I mean, it could be anything. I have fancy headphones. I wanted cool headphones and I've literally lost a sale, which I probably kind of told you about. Oh, yeah. Because somebody in the house is Bluetooth connected to my headset while I'm in the middle of the sale. And then it completely ruined, even though great connection, great people, but then it makes you look like, is he a kid just playing or what is this? Because all of a sudden we're talking and then going to close and now some music is playing and, you know, and you're like, oh my goodness, just keep it simple. Plug that thing in, talk to people. Stop.
I remember that. That was so dang funny, dude. I remember that. You're talking, getting there, and it's like, and then it just transfers over like, oh man. I've been home on my cell phone with my wife and kids, and I'm talking to a buddy. Thank God it was just a buddy at the time. It's like on a weekend. And my oldest, he's moving the car around, having fun, you know, like what teenagers do, and waxing and, you know, playing with his car. Well, he decides to move my ride, which of course, as soon as you turn it on, the Bluetooth kicks in. So I'm sitting here talking to a buddy, and all of a sudden he's gone. I'm like, what just happened? Right? Dumb things. Technology is great, but it can trip you up. Everyone, it can trip you up. Be careful.
Yes, 100%. Just, I mean, yeah. Just don't go to the old rotary phone. You don't have to go that simple, but yeah, just keep it simple.
It was funny after the fact, after like the sweat was over with when you went through that hard time, but that was a funny call.
It was. I had to tell people. I mean, and my other half, she was very embarrassed and very sad. She was very sad, but I was like, just laugh it off. I mean, if I can handle that, I can handle just about any objection or somebody being rude or whatever.
Absolutely. You know, you can survive that.
Yeah. But giggle and then learn from it.
Exactly. Learning moments, right? It is what it is. Some days we're overpaid, some days we're underpaid when that kind of stuff happens. And and being reliant on a headset too. Nothing wrong with a headset, everyone. I've got a very nice Plantronics that I use. I've used it for years and years and years, but let me share with you, when I do telesales, I actually do not use a headset. I use a super high definition platform where I can be like Pinocchio with no strings. It's phenomenal. So if you can have like one less thing in between you and the client, one less thing, not to say technology doesn't have its place. I'm not trying to take that away from you techies out there, but I'm saying that technology can trip you up. Even the most high-tech agent that has a really good CRM, a really good dialer, then guess what? The prices spike. The prices spike. And you're like, oof, or the data costs spike. The data costs spike, and you're done. And then you got to switch to another lower-cost CRM that's lower cost for a little while. And then maybe even that changes. Who knows, right? And they're really good, but you're moving over, and then you spend a week moving and trying to get all your data, and you're always going to lose something. Anytime you move from like one to another, it's like you just had a house fire. You're going to lose something in it, even if you're trying to do your best to protect it. So we've experienced this a lot as an agency, and I think it's hopefully this is value to the audience to help them kind of get some perspective. Whether it's right or wrong, there's no answer. You've got to decide that, okay, audience, for what you need. But there's pros to using just old school, okay, low technology, high production, keep it simple. But there's some organizational pros of having a CRM, yes, but we may just have some old school ways that work okay.
Exactly. And like you said, you have a free CRM, which you can still utilize a CRM. It doesn't need to be your all-in-one dialer robot, this and that and the other thing, which great stuff. Nothing wrong with that, but it's not necessary. That's
absolutely. And sometimes it can be, we can put tech like, oh, if I only had a shinier car, right? Like you can have a Ferrari, you can have, okay, a Land Rover, you can have a Toyota Corolla with 10 million miles on it. And guess what? As long as all three of them run, they're all going to get you to the grocery store, right? So it's like we can get all high tech with our fancy screens and our fancy headsets and our little shiny things. But realistically, all those vehicles, if you can make a call, everyone, whether it's through a CRM, whether it's through a phone, whether it's through your cell phone, there's no shame in it. All of these vehicles are going to help you get to where you need to go, but you got to make sure those things run. And when those vehicles leave you on the side of the road, no matter how fancy they are, it's not a good experience. That's my gist that Al and I hopefully are getting across to you. So use whatever car you like, just make sure it's reliable and make sure that dog knows how to hunt.
Yes, 100%.
All right. Well, I appreciate you, Alan. Thanks for joining us. For all the audience, have a great day. Alan, I'll let you lead us out, buddy.
Doodle.